Holdens, and of course, this is the finishing order from race 1. Wilson, Staff, Macro, Halliday, Abrahams, Bell, Dumbrell and Akihiro Asai. We go back to position 9 as Dale Breed, Sam Astuti, Oakshott, Ellis, Digby, Crampton, Stubber and Brenton Ramsey, who suffered gearbox problem in that first race. So let's hope he can overcome that for a better result in race 2. There's Akihiro Asai. Ready to go now, race 2, away we go. Let's see if Simon Wills is the man yet again. Here comes Staff and Adam Macro up the inside.
What a brilliant start from the young Australian. He's taking the Kiwis as they go side by side into turn 1. This is going to be a great run down toward turn 2. Adam Macro, the reigning Formula 4 champion, his first year in Formula Holdens and making a great start, but he's got to tuck in behind poleman Wills.
Wills overcame Macro there nicely under brakes down into turn 2. The Kiwi, Kevin Bell, has done extremely well to get up there into third ahead of countryman Staff, who's been pushed back to 4th. This is a great battle, though. I'm keen to see this one this year between Macro and Wills. Now Staff makes an inside move on Kevin Bell through turn 4.
Well, Macro's a pretty talented young guy, and I think he will take the fight right up to Simon Wills as this season progresses. He's got a lot of things to learn with these cars. They're much faster than a Formula Ford in both cornering and straight line speed. So once he adapts to it, I'm sure he's going to be taking the fight right to Wills in qualifying and racing.
Brenton Ramsey making his way up through the field, so he's off to a good start on the opening lap. Different experience for Simon Wills this year because, of course, last year there were quite a few more competitors in the category, or I should say tougher competitors up the front end, and Wills had to settle for second best quite a few times. Now he's the lead man, he's the man they're all chasing, so we'll see how he copes with that.
Through the complex, coming back toward the main straight for the first time, it's Simon Wills, the Kiwi in the Reynard 94D. Points it onto the main straight using all the track, putting the wheels right up on that extra bit of tarmac there on the approach, and we go on board with Akihiro Asai. Onboard camera sneaking up behind in the draft. He's going to have a run down the inside, is he? They're going to go side by side across the line. Look how quick they go through turn 1.
Great pictures there from Akihiro Asai's car. Now we go back up. This is the battle for second spot. Adam Macro sitting there behind Simon Wills. Now the pressure is coming from Staff, who sits in third spot. He's just hassling Macro big time. Then we go back to Bell, who sits in 4th.
Well, this is great racing, and look at this challenge down the inside. Beautiful move by Staff. Second fastest in qualifying, showing a little bit more experience than Macro there as he dives down the inside. But Macro now coming back on the attack as they head up around Corporate Hill. This is a great drive, a great debut drive from Adam Macro.
Go back on board with Akihiro Asai. This is down off the hill through turn 4. This is heading onto the back part of the Eastern Creek circuit. Through turn 5, you start to climb the hill. Now comes this little difficult section where it goes right and then left before you head around toward Corporate Hill.
A little bit different to the shots you see on onboard cameras in Formula 1. These cars still have a manual transmission. You see the hand coming off the wheel just to shift that stubby little gear lever there.
Paul Dumbrell in the Wins car. Whoa, all out of shape, and he's run wide too. Paul Dumbrell, the 16-year-old. He's off. Spears sideways, and a lot of sand coming up into the cockpit of the car. Let's hope young Paul's all right. It was a reasonably easy off, if we can say that. And the sand trap pulling him up nicely. Here's a replay.
Yeah, this car prepared by Gibson Motorsport. Trevor Schumack, the chief engineer, the man who spanned Dixon to the championship last year. But look at this, the young 16-year-old Paul Dumbrell. Some people in the Formula Holden pit suggesting he's under a bit too much pressure. All these cars he's been driving lately, NASCARs and all sorts of things. Now this is his baptism of fire in Formula Holden. He goes right out in the gravel trap there, but fortunately he's okay.
Brenton Ramsey on screen in car 9, working his way forward and doing a good job. As we said earlier, after suffering from that gearbox trouble in race 1, he's having a much better run in race 2.
On board with Akihiro once again, trying to find a way past Kevin Bell. Hasn't been able to find a line yet, but it's a very, very difficult track to overtake on, particularly around this complex at the back of Eastern Creek. It's basically one corner flowing into another corner. There's not a lot of straights here, so it really is follow the leader unless the car in front makes a major error. Well,
you heard Akihiro say earlier he wants to get overseas and get into Indy Lights. He's a former Japan Formula 4 champion. Now here's a replay of an earlier incident.
Who's that? Car 16, is it? Yeah, Sam Astuti. Getting all out of shape around the back part of the circuit, making a return to the cockpit for something like 10 years he's been out of racing. Getting back into Formula Holden. Look at this.
A wheel running down the main straight here at Eastern Creek. Now, whose car does it belong to? There's a blue one off to the inside. That could have been one of the Barana cars. It's Brendan Ramsey.
Yeah, he's really had bad luck this weekend, hasn't he? Gearbox problems in the first race. Now wheels come off, and it's a very unlikely incident to happen on one of the Barana cars. They're normally beautifully prepared. Might have been a structural failure.
So, rather anxious moment there for Brendan Ramsey, the 26-year-old Adelaide driver. We go back on board. He's been spending a bit of time in this race with Akihiro Asai as he works his way through the field. Didn't have the best run in race 1. A couple of offs. Now he comes down the hill into turn 9.
Currently running in 5th position, our Japanese visitor, Akihiro Asai. New man in Formula Holden this year is our reigning Formula 4 champion, Adam Macro.
Oh, I love Eastern Creek. It's probably one of the best tracks, one of my favourite tracks in Australia. I haven't really raced here a lot because 98 it wasn't part of the championship. But when I am here, I love it, so it's really good.
Well, I guess you could ask the question, is young Adam Macro following in the same footsteps as perhaps someone like Jason Bright, who did win the Formula Ford Championship, then went on to win the Australian Drivers' Championship in the Formula Holdens. Now he's one of the big guns, one of the stars of the V8 supercars. We'll have to wait and see. Here's Matthew Halliday in car 12, currently sitting back in 7th position.
Yeah, it's one of the many Kiwis made their way over to... Oh, dear, oh dear. Just going to put the wraps on him. And he loops it coming out of turn 2. But these cars are not easy to drive. Let's have a look at that on the replay. Just loops it around, a fairly harmless spin. Coming out of turn 2. Looks like he got back into the race okay. There he is.
Race update on screen. Will, Staff, Macro and Halliday. Of course, that was before the spin. Now he's regrouping and trying his best. Crampton way back there in 9th position. Doing well, our oldest competitor in the field. No disrespect intended. Here is Kevin Bell and Akihiro Asai battling it out for the minor placings. Akihiro Asai, we go back on board. Good battle here. This is for 4th spot. Asai sitting in 5th at the moment. Can he reel him in the draft? Can he tuck in behind one of our many Kiwi drivers in this category?
Well, it's just an indication of the nature of this flowing circuit. You get in behind a driver, you're both hitting the power at the same time, braking at the same time. There's very few straight sections of track around the back of the circuit, so it's very, very difficult to pass, and Akihiro's finding that here this afternoon.
Let's not forget about our race leader, Simon Wills, still doing a good job. He's gone for the inside line. Akihiro Asai, talk about late braking. The inside run through turn 2. Now Bell tries to come back off onto the grass, gets a little sideways, but has lost a lot of ground. Akihiro Asai very aggressive on the inside.
Yeah, well, sure was aggressive, but it was a very clean move too. He saw Bell just napping there, stuck the front of the car inside on turn 2, sneaked away, and he might have been a little bit cheeky coming out too. Kevin Bell may have a word with him after, but great racing, no doubt.
Sure, Kevin Bell would be enjoying this here in Australia for the first time. You can enjoy the Formula Holdens at the sensational Adelaide 500 on next weekend, April 9, 10 and 11, as we rejoin our race leader, Simon Wills, in the Barana Reynard. Geez, looking good. He's very polished, this guy. Out of turn 9 runs just a little wide, but he's had these 2 races fully under control and in his control.
Look at the huge lead he's got over the rest of the field. He's the fastest man on the circuit at the moment, a 1:23.52, fastest lap of the race. So even though he's got this big lead, he is really attacking this Eastern Creek circuit, trying to get maximum speed from the car.
This is the run to the line. Simon Wills. Checkered flag is out. 2 starts, 2 wins. Well done. A great run to the Kiwi there, and he starts his 1999 campaign for the Australian Drivers' Championship in the best possible way. Countryman Chris Staff, the 22-year-old, his first season in the Formula Holdens, and he finishes 2nd. And Adam Macro, a solid start to his season. 2/3 will see him well placed for the rest of the season. Akihiro Asai in for 4th ahead of Bell, Abrahams, Halliday, Ray Stubber picking up 8th. We go all the way back to Dale Breed in 16th position. Coming up on your home of motorsport right after this break, Barry Sheen rejoins